Hey everyone, Generation Y Conservative here, and tonight we went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with my buddy Nick and Mike. Hey Groot, start it up.
What's that?
He says, welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy. Only he didn't use frickin'.
So we just got out of the theater watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and we have a couple things to say about it in our review. A little bit later we're going to get into a little bit more spoiler territory, try to keep it a little short, at least for the initial review. So as we get started, the one thing that we always have to jump into is talking about characters and everything. So we'll try to go through as quick as possible. So what did you guys think of Star-Lord as a character and his acting this go around?
Solid character. I mean, overall comedic timing, I enjoyed him. Like the whole movie, I enjoyed thoroughly.
Okay.
So Star-Lord, I thought, was pretty much the heart of the movie. You know, finally learning about his father and his backstory and everything that happened with his mother and everything. So that's kind of where the heart of the movie was for me.
I feel the same way. I just think that he didn't have as many funny lines as the last time.
Other characters definitely usurped the funny lines.
He actually was not part of the movie as much, really, when you think about it. Let's go to Drax. So go ahead, Nick, with Drax.
This is the Arrow Man, right? The one that...
No, Drax, the Destroyer.
Oh,
The
this is
big guy.
tattooed.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, 1 second.
True Marvel fan here.
Hysterical. No, but like,
You must be so embarrassed!
enjoyed this character's like bluntness. I mean, a lot of it was like this absurd kind of awkward humor, but I appreciated it like every single moment. I really did.
They just took the premise of him not understanding, sarcasm and everything is literal, and just ran with it this movie, and it was
So funny.
fantastic.
Absolutely.
Like the best one-liners.
Yes!
Favorite character in this movie?
Like he was mine in the first.
Really?
Yeah, he caught me when they're escaping from the prison, and they're like, they take everything literally. It'll go right over his head.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
Like that right there. I'm like, this is my favorite character. So, and they just carried it on in Volume 2.
That's Gamora.
Give me a quick
Green.
got it.
Green chick.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna die surrounded by the biggest idiots in the galaxy.
Really?
There's 2 girls in this movie.
I'm Chris. This
What?
is Mike.
When's green? I enjoyed it.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
She wasn't dominant in the movie at all, but I really feel like they gave everyone a platform to have some type of story and background, you know? I mean, everyone got stage play throughout the entire movie. I mean, like, you got background story on Star-Lord, and essentially you get a story about her and her sister, and that dynamic. Raccoon Man, what is his name? Little
Rocket.
dude. Rocket, and like, dude with that.
Is he my Marvel
Dude
person?
with the arrow. Like, I don't
Let's just agree to never discuss this.
I don't remember names at all, but like those characters, like you found like the correlations in between them, and they all had like good, like, you know, heartfelt scenes. Even Groot, like with all his dancing and stuff like that, man.
Aside from the sister stuff, her character was the something's not right here character.
Yeah,
that was like her purpose for the movie.
Yeah, she was
There's
the
always one of
character from
those.
Star Wars. I got a bad feeling about
Yeah,
this
exactly.
type thing.
But there was a lot there with Nebula, and their relationship that had a lot of backstory that you didn't really get in the first movie. So,
Yes, and we'll get into that.
And it
in a
added
little
to
bit.
Nebula's character more than anything, more so than
Yeah.
Gamora.
Let's go to Rocket, the raccoon.
Check.
The little furry one.
Rocket was the highlight of this entire movie.
Really?
Period. Oh my God, man, he had the funniest like lines in the entire film.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags, but that isn't true at all. Dude. I'm using my wrong eye.
Period. Like he had very strong like comedic parts. Like I throughout, I found myself laughing often and frequently when he was on screen. Period.
Okay.
He was definitely funny. I feel like the comedy was shared between 3 characters in particular. Well, really 2, and then one had a fantastic Mary Poppins line. Rocket. You also got some more of that backstory of his, of being built by the scientists and why he does what he does and why he wants to be the professional prick all the time. So it was good seeing more about him, and yeah, he was hilarious.
The premise of this whole story was about family. Family all around. Even though they're all from different families, it's all about the relationship of the group themselves.
Yep.
And Rocket's portion of that was just trying to find a way to not push others away from him. How about Groot? Baby Groot in this case.
Oh, Baby Groot was adorable in that movie. Like dance, that whole like action scene in the beginning where like he's like just dancing around, like it's so oblivious.
That's his stuff right there.
Yeah,
that's what Nick would do in a fight.
Oh,
dance
no,
around.
I would throw down. Like, not time for this. After the fight, if I've won, I'll dance like that. But like he's just like grooving, it's like jamming up. But like,
Oh, it was hilarious.
But he loved music though. It was so
Yeah.
great. I love that part.
It was a change from just Star-Lord being into music. It really seemed like everyone has gotten into that
Quill's music.
thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like one of the driving
And
forces. It's like the background. It's the soundtrack.
That's so realistic too, because one thing that like everybody has some kind of attachment to is music.
Yep.
No matter what kind or where you're from or what social class you are, everyone loves music, all different kinds of music. So the fact that Quill's soundtrack of his childhood has kind of spread to everyone else for them to enjoy was really cool. Groot, I mean, he is a I mean, he is there to sell toys.
I am Groot.
Yes. Yeah,
I mean, that is for sure.
Yes.
But he was hilarious. I mean, I did like
Absolutely.
a lot. Apparently.
Yes. And he was adorable.
Yeah, he was adorable.
As a guy using that word, it's a little weird,
Oh,
but he was
not
freaking
weird at all.
adorable.
Not
Masculinity is
weird
still
at
there.
all.
The manness is still there. You still say that.
Yeah.
That's adorable. That's adorable.
I got you, Groot.
Yep. It was kind of cool that they kept him, because from what I've seen in the comics is that when he is regrowing, he still has his consciousness of an adult Groot.
Oh, okay.
But in the movie they changed it where he actually is like a baby. And it worked, you know?
Yeah,
it was kind of funny to watching everyone else have to babysit little Groot.
We went through the main characters of the group. What about let's just take the characters as a lump sum. So you have Yondu, Nebula, and Kurt Russell's character Ego.
Mantis.
Right?
Don't forget Mantis.
And Mantis too. So what did you think of the supporting characters?
Supporting characters, I mean, like that whole film in general, in reference to like the overall balance of like the whole story itself, I wasn't sure what to expect. I really wasn't sure what to expect, but I feel like it was well balanced. I mean, everyone complimented each other, like period.
Exactly.
I don't feel like anyone stole the show or basically took away from anything. It was just like the editing was on point, and that makes or breaks a movie. Period.
The supporting characters I feel like were each paired up with one of the main characters.
Oh, yeah.
So Nebula was linked with Gamora and their whole sisterhood relationship. Yondu actually got paired with Rocket and Star-Lord. And then, Mantis with Drax was great. I mean, they were so funny.
When you put innocence, complete and utter innocence of not being connected with anything socially, with a guy who doesn't get metaphors or sarcasm or anything, and those two
and has no filter. No filter.
When those two social things collide, it makes for the funniest stuff you're ever gonna watch or listen to.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Smiling. I hear it is the thing to do to make people like you.
What if you do it like that?
Yeah. Her reactions to him of not getting offended and just being like, oh, okay, this is reality.
Yes.
This was great.
How about acting wise with you guys? Ego though. Kurt Russell.
He crushed it.
I mean,
he did.
He sold it completely.
Where does he go wrong? I mean, in his whole career.
Yeah. He does make
not many stumbling blocks for Kurt Russell. So I mean, he was fantastic.
After all these years, I've found you. And who the hell are you? I figured my rugged good looks would make that obvious. My name is Ego. And I'm your dad, Peter.
I might do three types of scorings on this. Number one, in regards to Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, better or not as good?
I would say that this one definitely had a little leg up on it, but I feel like Marvel movie-wise...
Okay, that's the next thing, so hold that.
Hold it back.
Compared to the first, I feel like story-wise, the first one is a little bit more intriguing because it's the whole group coming together.
Okay.
Comedy-wise, this one I feel like had more just one after the other the other from so many different characters.
Yeah.
But they really, I don't really know if I can say if one is better than the other. They really do complement them each other, because I guess the second one only happens like 4 months after the first one.
18 months.
Yeah, something like So it really does just kind of continue the story. You can watch them back to back as like one movie, you know, and it's just it's fantastic.
I think a couple weeks ago you were on my podcast and we talked about how the first one was a Marvel movie that is always watchable again. Like all the other ones, you turn on and you could fast forward to the parts that you really like the Avengers. I think we talked about the attack on New York City. Like you could go through all that, or the fight scene between Thor and Hulk, or anything, you know, or Iron Man. Iron Man for me is one of those ones that you can actually watch all the way through.
The first one.
But to me,
first one.
To me, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, is my number one Marvel movie to me on my list. Yeah. So seeing this, I was going into it skeptical that I could challenge it.
Yeah.
I think this one was better. And I understand the coming together of the family and everything, and the relationships evolving in the first one. But I think that's also the pitfall of any type of movie, is the setup that takes a lot longer. In this, the relationship's established and they're just going gung-ho. There's dysfunctions like any family, but you get to hit the action right away. You know, I mean, the scene literally starts with that space monster from the preview. Right? In regards to where it ranks in the Marvel universe. So you were about to say that. Go ahead.
I think Marvel is very conscious of just taping all these things together. I'm just looking so forward to seeing
Infinity War.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. So I'm just looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the end result with all these movies put together. I'm also looking forward to Spider-Man coming out too.
Yes, which we will be reviewing.
Yeah.
I pretty much agree. Like, it's what we talked about 2 weeks ago. For me, I watch Avengers: Age of Ultron, and I fast forward to the Hulkbuster scene, and I watch that, you know, and I watch that with my son. And,
so good.
And when I watch the original Avengers, it's the attack on New York and Hulk and Thor fighting, and it's like that for a lot of the movies. You know, when Spider-Man shows up in Civil War and the airport scene. But Guardians of the Galaxy, multiple times I have sat down from the beginning and just watched the whole thing through. So it really is probably my favorite series of the Marvel movies.
Out of 10, what do you give it?
I'll give it a 9.5.
I would say 9.
I was at a 9.5 too.
Yep.
So go out and see it. I want to give a couple things on with the movie, things to watch out for. In case you are offended by things, there are a lot of sexual references that are hilarious, though. I mean, they don't show anything. And there's the typical cursing that you're going to find in any movie nowadays with the S word and everything like that. But they do talk about sexual organs.
And it's all talk, right?
It's all talk.
It's not even showing. It's not even stuff happening that you can't see. It's all just talk, and you know.
And we'll actually get to that in the spoiler cast, which is coming up right now. There's so much to talk about. We're going to try to keep it short.
It was packed.
Let's just go over some of like your favorite parts there.
Arrow scene, 100%. Like that was like the slow-mo of it, and like this thing getting him just like whistling for it, and it's going all over the ship, and my word, man, that scene was just
one thing that we have some impatient people in the car with us. And Mike here went to see it before us because we didn't go tonight to see it in 3D. So on that end, just quickly, you know, you said that the arrow scenes for Yondu were amazing in 3D. So you just want to talk about like the 3D experience real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those movies. Well, first off, I mean, when I found out that we weren't watching it in IMAX 3D, I was like, okay, listen, the first time I watch this movie is going to be in IMAX 3D. So I had to go early, so I apologize. But yeah, the arrow scene with Yondu in 3D was probably the best 3D thing I've ever seen in a movie. So many times you go see 3D and it's like, it's not worth it, or it just dims everything. But there's one scene in particular where the arrow comes straight to the camera and stops for like a half a second. In 3D, it really is like it's right in front of your face, you know. And as it's flying around, it's awesome. And there were a lot of other parts too. So the 3D was worth it if you get a chance.
Would have been neat to see it in 3D. Thanks, Nick. Any other good parts that you really liked?
What other good parts were the whole laser scene with the mobile laser units.
The balls on the ship.
I didn't realize they even had that, and I was just like, oh, okay.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, they even have that?
Yeah. What do you mean they even have
Like in real life?
Is that a serious
Is this
thing?
real?
Oh my!
They have that out there?
They just
I want that on my car.
Northrop Grumman just licensed out some new weapons.
It's
to
actually in the
Guardians of
Sky Mall magazine.
Yeah,
Someone cuts you off and goes, all right, boom.
automotive
You are
defense
not
systems.
getting away with that.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of the one-liners in this movie were amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Right, they hit you right at the beginning with
Later on tonight, you're gonna be laying down. There's gonna be something squishy in your pillowcase. And it's gonna be because I put a turd in there.
You put your turd in my bed, I shave you.
Oh, it won't be my turd. It'll be Drax's.
I have famously huge turds.
so that was one of my favorites. And then when at the end when they're coming down from the ship and Yondu's on his arrow and Peter's like, "You look like Mary Poppins." Is he cool? Hell yeah, he's cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Oh, Mary Poppins.
And it just shows him in slow motion coming down.
Now, the funny thing is, before we went to see this, I have been seeing memes all over the internet with Yondu as Mary Poppins, and I didn't understand what the heck was going on. So that was kind of a giveaway at that point. You know what's funny, though? The way that you guys are talking, when I think of Marvel movies, I think of... when I talk about my favorite scenes, I talk about the spectacle that's on
the
scene,
action scenes,
right? Mm-hmm. And it's just it's the eye candy, right? Mm-hmm. Honestly, sitting here thinking about this, my favorite parts of this movie was dialogue scenes.
It's the character moments.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, okay, so you were talking about like the things between Rocket and Drax there. One of my favorite scenes was when Drax and Mantis were sitting outside and he was talking about how ugly she is and her taking it basically innocently as a compliment.
Yeah.
And just at the end when he's like, when she's like, "That's beautiful," he's like, "You're beautiful too." On the inside.
Yeah. And they link stuff together, like at the beginning when he doesn't want that suit on because his nipples are sensitive, and then at the end when you take Mantis and get out of here, and he throws it on him, he's like, "Oh, my nipples," and he flies away. If we're in spoiler talk, right, we got to talk about Ego's turn. You know?
Yes.
Like, how did you guys
amazing.
feel about that he ended up being the villain of the movie?
Well, so yeah,
Disappointed, man. I was so disappointed.
Well, no, here's why I think they played it out this way. Number one, when you go into the movie, you think that it's the people?
The Sovereign?
The Sovereign, right? You know from the previews that the Sovereign... You think from the previews that the Sovereign are going to be the bad guys, which they are for half the movie.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that Ego, with his ego, just wants to spread himself all over the universe and take over planets because he is a living planet. He has become a planet and has like the ability to make himself into multiple people, which is from the comics. I mean, that's what he did.
Missed the mark 100%. What a dumb thought process. Like, really?
Well, here's the thing, though.
That's your purpose?
What happened with that?
What a jerk.
You thought, but gets rid of the people, global warming's gone.
All those kids that he had?
Yeah.
Like in that tomb? Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That, hundreds.
And that also really helped flesh out Yondu, too, you know, why he was kicked out of the Ravagers for breaking the code, because they don't deal with kids.
Yeah.
But,
as a trade, like
a traffic.
Exactly. That's what it was. Yeah.
So but it was a little thing you caught too. I don't know if you caught it, but when Ego said, I promised Yondu that I wouldn't hurt any of them, and I didn't. They didn't feel a thing.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But once Yondu found out, that's why he kept Peter, and it wasn't just because he was small and could fit into little crevices.
But here's where I was going with why they had to do it this way too. If Ego's the father, and they did say that Peter is immortal in this, like his father, Ego, in order for this franchise to move forward and take a risk with Peter Quill at any point in time, he had to shed his immortality, right? Which when they killed Ego, he was no longer immortal and couldn't do the things that he was doing in the movie.
I got a feeling he's going to create his own energy in some way. I got a
that would be awesome.
I got a feeling.
By the way, and one of Nick's favorite parts, and 80s references real quick before we end this thing.
Yep.
when Peter Quill turned into Pac-Man. He was cracking up so much.
I thought it was gonna be like a giant gold, like metal, armor or something like that. But no, it was.
But not only that, we were talking about the Sovereign. One of the funniest parts I talked about as we were leaving the theater was the Sovereign, when they control their ships. They're actually sitting in like an arcade style.
They're UAVs.
Yeah, exactly.
They're unmanned. Yep. But yeah.
They're sitting in like an arcade setting.
They're cheering each other on.
Yeah, man, like video screens. But then the ships are shooting with the 80s arcade sounds like pew, pew, pew.
And when they die, you get the game over sound,
But not only that, did you notice when they were going through the asteroid field, it was like a classic with all that for asteroids.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
This is hilarious.
Then
by the way,
Nebula
5 post-credit scenes. So if you stick around and you like those things, which they were all great, you're gonna sit through 5. So count them out on your fingers like we were, because we knew that they were gonna
just stay till the end.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, this far, when was the first Iron Man? Like 2003, 6, 7. If you don't know,
no, it was 2000. It was about 2002, 2003.
Yeah, if you don't know by now to stay till the end of the credits of a Marvel movie, I don't know what's like. When people get up and leave, I'm like, really?
Where'd you go? I will look.
What is wrong?
I'm unsure, but I'll look it up on my phone just to make sure. I'm like, is there extra credits?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm staying for this.
I look it up for other movies. For Marvel, I already know to stay.
Yeah.
So for as far as Infinity War, I can't wait for Drax to meet Iron Man and Thor and Captain America
He'll be real
how they react to his personality.
Yes.
You know,
they're talking about 65 some superheroes in that movie.
Yeah.
So it's going to be insane. There's not enough good things that could be said about this movie without going line by line through it. I mean, honestly, this is going to be one of the best movies of the year. It has to be. We have a lot of stuff coming up. We're sitting in the movie theater just looking at these trailers, saying how good for 2017 movies is, or how good for movies 2017 is. Yeah. So we'll see what one of the next movies is coming up that we're going to review. We were talking about. Let's talk, Marvel-wise. We have Spider-Man Homecoming coming up first, and then we have Thor coming up in the fall.
What's Panther coming out?
That's not until next year, I think.
Really? Isn't it after the first?
I thought I was going to see a trailer.
Is it going to be in between the 2 Infinity War movies, or is it after Infinity War?
Captain Marvel's coming out too.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, with Brie Larson.
Yep.
That's the character. Marvel. We have some more movie reviews coming up. I hope that you continue to enjoy these because we have fun making them, and it's fun all around to get new audience people into the channel. You can always go to my channel and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook by going to search for the Generation Y Conservative. You can find me on YouTube by searching for the Generation Y Conservative, and you can interact with me and let me know what your thoughts were on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 by going to @GenYConservative without the E on the end. And we'll catch you next time for the next movie review. Have a good one.
I am Groot.
Uh-huh.
I am Groot.
That's right.
I am Groot.
No! No, that's the button that will kill everyone! Wasting a lot of time!
I am Groot!
Stop!
This is all right.
Yeah, this is working
so.
perfectly.
The floating head.
I see a little silhouette of a man.
Maybe I get some color, open up the black a little bit.
Whoa.
Sort of like
I'm just straight.
Sweatshirt.
I knew what you were saying, bro. I knew. Oh, we counting.
It's been recording.
Okay,
oh, nice.
Got all that racist stuff right in there.
At the end,
I knew what you were saying, brother.
I'll take at the end. I see a little.
Serious? I never realized.